The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, how are you guys all doing? Mark's got up our mixing screen, which is the way that he puts us onto Facebook Live and to YouTube. And guys, this is my menagerie here. As you can see, I am in an RV. Here's a look down the hallway. There's a couple of my dogs, and I am in Texas for a dog competition event, which is a big avocation of mine. But interestingly, I was telling people on the webinar we just did a little while ago, and anyway, my training partner is stopping right outside here. He's going to open his gate. Mr. Knutson, I hope you wore some sunscreen today. I know, I did. I see that.
A little red.
You look a little red.
Yep.
I am, but it looks like you look a little
Hey,
red.
it was a good day.
What? How did that blind go?
Oh, went okay. I mean, we had a couple that kind of did, but I mean, for the most part, not bad.
But I mean, it was a good training blind.
Oh yeah, real good. I love the marks. And
Yeah. All right. Anyway, that was Paul, who is my training partner here, who owns the place that I'm staying at in Texas. And anyway, we had a great day, and I had a webinar earlier with Zebulon Heron, Zeb Harlan. You guys need to watch the replay of that if you were not able to be on it live. It was amazing. Zeb was amazing. My belief is he'll be the next Mark Shepard, Gabe Brown, Joel Salatin. I've already put him in touch with Joel. He's a sheep farmer down in New Zealand. That's the way he makes his living. But he lives on an amazing place where he does events. He has 2 disc golf courses, one that's 18 holes, one that's 27. He has a river that I'm going to be helping him with do some aquaculture on. He grows what are called polyculture pastures and or paddocks, excuse me, and they are amazing in their circumstances. And again, just an amazing guy. Well, anyway, we were talking about a variety of things, and one of the things we discussed was EPN to a little bit, and that's what our topic today is going to be. And we talked about how so many people talk about wanting to do something, and then they talk and they talk and they talk and they never do. That's just typical. That happens in life all the time. That's not surprising. Very many people do it. And just how it's too bad that happens. But anyway, again, would you guys do me a favor? If you could put some 1s in the little Q&A box, if you're hearing me all right and seeing me. Mark, am I coming through all right? Everything cool? All right. Did you enjoy Zeb? Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty amazing guy. And again, I think he's going to become a hero in the whole world of regenerative agriculture and just the way we ought to live our lives. So I don't know if we've got some 1s in there that they're hearing me and seeing me all right. Hope we do. Oh yeah, lots of them. Obviously, great. Thanks, everybody. So I have spent the 2 weeks preceding this talking in some detail about EPN. I'm not going to do that same sort of thing today. Instead, I'm going to talk about so the last changes that we've made to the websites, and I'll show those to you. And there's not a lot, but we have actually made the sign-up process a little easier. We have had a number of people join our our group over our network over the last week. And we're going to be working on helping a whole bunch more join. And we're actually doing something that's pretty cool, which is if you volunteer to be a speaker for one of our EAT webinars, and you have some expertise in a topic, and we essentially select you, we're going to give you a free membership to for a year to our associates member group of EPN. Now, a number of you that were on our first two webinars have already gotten that gift from us. We're not giving that away this time. I said last week that the first 2 weeks were the only 2 weeks that I would be doing that, and I'm not going to change on that at this point, and that would make it unfair to all those people who were on those first two. So from this point on, our webinars about EPN are going to be more discussions than they are descriptions. First 2 weeks were descriptions, and during those 2 weeks, I gave a lot of detail, and you guys asked a lot of great questions both weeks, and that was awesome too. And you can get replays of those in the EAT community, whichever level you belong. So in the EAT free group, in the EAT Elite group, in the EAT Pro group. Some of you might be members of our advisory board, and it's also put there. We had an advisory board meeting yesterday, and a number of those folks were really excited about EPN and have volunteered to spend their time to help us with it. And we're going to take them up on that. And we're actually looking for any of you to be willing to help us with some things that we need to have done. So again, between last week and this week, I put the last bit of time, a lot of it, but into making sure everything is working on the website. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes going over that. So Mark, if you would scroll down, please, here on the homepage. And I'm going to show you some things that are different. This is not different, but we're going to come back to this when you click to become a free member. This next section here is not different. So here you can schedule a call, or you can also join. That's always been there. The next section is also not new. It's where you can click and get a 12-page document, 10 to 12. I'm not sure exactly the length. But that will tell you all the nerdy things that as a scientist, potential EPN member, that you might want to get. That hasn't changed. That's still there. Go on down a little bit more, Mark. This next section, which is to get a brochure. We have a 4-page brochure that you could either give to other people or you could use yourself. That hasn't changed. And keep going, Mark. And this hasn't changed. It's just, give us a call if you still have questions and different thoughts. And by the way, put any questions that you have or comments into the Q&A box. And if you want us to unmute you, just raise your hand and Mark will tell me. This is new. Now down at the bottom, we've added to the page all 7 of the different ways in which you can become a member. The EPN free, which has been hugely changed. And we're going to go to that site in a little bit and show it to you. And then associate member, which is our foundation backbone. That's the vast majority of our members. Those are going to be the people doing projects, making money, doing projects, making revenues and income for themselves, for their teams, as well as for EPN, even though EPN is not supposed to be, it's not ever intended to be a huge profit generating. Instead, it's intended to be an entity that creates revenues that can be passed on to our members. And we've created a whole process in which to do that. The student memberships we think will be amazing. We already have 6 universities that have agreed to start chapters for us and then use those chapters to recruit members. So that's another one of our real key groups. All of these are key. You can see EPN free is free. $39 a year. With scholarships, we don't want any student to not be able to join because they can't afford it. Anybody that essentially will apply. And we've had some scholarships through EAT, and we just need to get those prepared so we can put them in so that people can get scholarships through the EPN process too. So those are the first three. Then scroll on down, Mark. And if you click on any one of those three, you'll go to a page. We're going to show you that in just a minute. So then we'll go to Green Business, which is now our Lifetime Advisor membership. Those are the ones that we're going to hand pick. Some of you could be those. We know some of you. We really would like some of you to be advisor members. There's only going to be 100 total, but we're not going to pick anybody who doesn't commit to us to put time in. We may make several mistakes. I'm sure we will, but not a lot. And so we're not just going to put anybody into that status. Service members, those people that are service providers to EPN, advisor and associate members primarily, and they could be accountants, lawyers, medical, insurance, you name it. As I mentioned to you, we already have an E&O, errors and omissions product, or basically professional liability policy that members are going to be able to get for any projects that they do through EPN. And if they do other projects through their own business that's not done through EPN, there's a possibility they can get those for a great discount also. So that right there is unique. Nobody else in the world offers that at this time. And then support members are people that just want to be friends. And again, that's relatively inexpensive. Those are not environmental professionals, but they're just people that, in my case, like mom and dad or whatever. My father-in-law wants to be a member, and just so he can follow what we're doing. Each one of these has its own separate checkout page, so it's really simple to become a member. We're going to go to that in just a minute. There's one more, so scroll down. There's the last one, which is our sponsor members, Mark. Wait a minute, why is that not on here? That's missing here. That's interesting. That should be on. Again, we're finding little things that there's, and maybe, wonder why the sponsor member is not on there. Oh, I didn't add it there because we don't, that's right. I only put these here because I put the 6, because the sponsor members are our clients, the people that are going to be clients. And I really didn't want them to come to the web page and become members. We're going to talk to those people. So that's right. That's why we didn't put that one there. So let's go to the EPN free and click on that. Just click on that box, Mark. Otherwise, the site's the same. And this takes you to a place where you have the ability to join EPN free. And Mark can't because he's an administrator. So notice that little blue box, if he scrolls down just a little further, it's dulled out right now. So he would not be able to join. He's the one that's controlling the screen right now. And that's intentional because he's already a member of everything as an administrator. But if you scroll down so you can see what the free membership includes, it's got a lot more than what we've even put here. We're going to add more things, but it's got all the profile forms that we'd like everybody to fill out when they're showing an interest, and they can become a member before they fill out the profile form. Profile form just asks a whole bunch of questions about people. We're going to show you that quickly. We've shown that in the past couple of weeks too, but we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. But it includes 3 new freebies that are each one of them certainly worth a lot more than 0, which is the cost here. One of them is our book, Unleash the Entrepreneur Within, which we've given away thousands of copies of, and we've gotten every day we get thank yous from people. Shows you, how you can become an entrepreneur and why it's valuable and useful. It's a book that we wrote, Mark? 6 years ago? It was before we started EAT. EAT was coming up on 5 years. We have our 5-year anniversary in June. So we've had it for more than 5 years that we put it together. Second one is a book called Green Marketing. This one we wrote very specifically for anybody that wants to market into the green marketplace. So this could be broader than just our potential members as associates or advisors. It could also include a lot of our service members. But again, it's about 180-page book, lots of references, lots of things that you could fact check, and I think you'd find are accurate. But really great information. Again, probably worth $30, $40 if you were to buy it, and we're giving it away. And then finally, a book that doesn't sound like it's quite as relevant, but it is, because if you're going to build a business, you need to be healthy. And so it's a book on juicing. And again, we wrote it. We've never given it away. By the way, we've never given away we've never even made available at all the green marketing book or the juicing book. And so these are the first times for these. So Mark, could you open up your EPN free page on your admin side, and then just click on the preview so we can look at that, and I can quickly show everybody what's there. You'll need to open in Kajabi. You'll need to go into your Kajabi page. So you'll need to get out of go down. Yep, there we go. You're getting a little bit of a back view of our platform that we use, Kajabi here. Mark is he's going into a different one of our websites. We have a whole bunch of them. I put my daily journal in there in one of these sites. Kajabi is something that honestly I would recommend anybody that's looking to start any kind of a membership or a course type of circumstance, that you'd be incredibly. We've come up with 31 members in just the last 2 weeks from none. So go to products and EPN free, Mark, and then just click on that, and then we'll click on the preview of it. Any questions out there yet, Mark? You've been working, so I'll look and see. Where do I find the free downloads of the ebooks? In the EPN free site, we're going to show you right now. So Mark, are you going to okay, now you went back to the web page, Mark. You need to do the product. This is the product. Don't click on that preview. Go and up at the top here. It should allow you farther up. There you go. Click on that one. Yes. Not open. You did the wrong thing there, I think. I don't think this is going to get us where nope, there it is. Okay. Yep, this is where we want to be. So scroll down now, and you're going to see that there are two different parts of this right now. There are the profile forms and then the resources. Click on resources, Mark. Here are the 3 books, and click and also the 2 webinars that we've done. Mark, good job getting those in today. We just talked about this yesterday. Some applause for Mark, please. Drum roll. Mark's a drummer, by the way. Are you doing a gig? Did I hear the other day that you and Sierra were talking, or you and Emily were talking? Do you guys have some kind of a gig you're hoping to do? But are they legal now? Could you do gigs? Is it legal in your country? Okay, cool. Okay. And when I say legal, everybody, I mean that COVID, has done lots of things to close down big events. So just click on the juicing book one real quick, and I'll show everybody where they get their juicing book if you're an EPN free member. right over there where it says download on the right. Don't do it, Mark, but that's where you would get it, Doug, and others who were asking. And then there's a little description of it here down below. We're not going to go to all of them, but you can just find them. You don't have to go back to the other page. Well, go ahead and go to another one. Go to the green marketing one, Mark. You didn't need to even go back. You could have clicked right on that page and it would have gone to it. Over on the right below here is going to be the green marketing book. And you can get the same thing. Click on one of the E is launching an amazing new, I'm pointing at the screen, right down there. Click, that's going to be one of the webinars that you might have missed. Oh, Mark's showing the green, that's green marketing right now. But yeah, click there, Mark. And there's the replay for you guys. Did we put SoundCloud on there also, Mark, so they can just listen to it too? Is it down there? Yep, there it is. So you can download it, you can just listen to it, you can watch it here, or you can, in lots of different ways. So I hope that answers your question, Doug. Let me see what other questions we've got. Mark, would you go now to the profile forms? They're on the page. Now, you didn't need to go back. It was back there in the product page we were just on, Mark. You just need to go back to categories. Well, you can start there. So now go to profile forms. Okay. So now let's click on the first one, which is this. It's the same profile form if you want to either be an associate or an advisor. You can fill all of this out online. Now, in a minute, we're going to go back. You don't have to finish the profile form right now. I'm petting my dog Sky here. You can do it later if you're wanting to do this, but it takes 10 minutes or so to fill this out. The biggest part I want to show you that you need to put info on is coming up here. And it's a jogger for your mind to tell you where you have expertise in the ecological environmental area, because I guarantee all of you do. And you don't have to have degrees, you don't have to have whatever. This is the one under skills inventory. These are just a list of what are the primary areas which have involvement. Stop right there, Mark, because I want to point out a couple that wouldn't make, maybe you think, well, how could they? Accounting. If you are an accountant that services primarily environmental or ecological companies, and there are some that do, then you are certainly a professional in the environmental space, and you should try to become a member. Botany, that's the study of plants. And if you're a botanist, you would be. Biochemistry, business planning, if you plan for people who are in the environmental industry, you'd be one. Permitting, I don't know how many environmental permitting professionals there are in the world, but 10,000 plus, maybe more. All of you could be members. Quality assurance, quality control. So up at the very top of this, so now scroll right to the top of the list, Mark. It says, once you've looked at the list, there's a box down below, you should type in what you think your skill level is in any of these that are appropriate, not all of them. So, and that's kind of small for me, Mark. Would you read off what it says? Because I think I kind of know, but 1 would be the lowest skill. I kind of understand this. I think I know a little bit about it. 5 would say, you know what? I'm highly skilled in architecture. That's my career. It's what I do. I have a really high skill level. You don't need to read it, Mark. I've got it from here. So then go ahead and now scroll to the end of this list. This list is pretty long. And in the box at the bottom, right there, you just put in which of those that, or others, could be something that's not on there, that you believe you have some level of expertise from 1 to 5 in. Might be 1, might be 50 of them. It could be all kinds of them. So, and then there are a bunch of other questions. So there are profile forms for every different kind of membership that we have. This was in here before. It used to be, we also had another kind of a document here that we've changed. So now go back up to the top of it again, Mark. Oh, no, scroll all the way to the bottom, because there could be another thing at the very bottom. Some of them don't have this on it yet. I think this one does. Keep going, way down. What, Mark? So. Yep, I did. And it just says there you could schedule a call with us. But we're going to add, if you want to join right now, you can click here too. That I haven't put it on this page yet, but go back up to the top again, Mark, because it is on the page up above. This is going to take a little while to fill out, but it's really important for us because that's what's going to tell us, and you're going to know too what your skill sets are. So you can either click there and it'll take you to a page to allow you to become an advisor member. Go ahead and click on that, Mark. So here's where you go to the page that you can fill in your information and become an advisor. Again, I don't believe Mark's going to be able to because he already is one because of his admin status. So that the little bat is not blue. This should be a deep blue over there. He couldn't, if he filled it all out, he couldn't actually do that. But it gives a lot more of the details about what it means to be an advisor again, and then you can actually fill it out. So Mark, now go back to the admin page that shows all the membership categories again. There we go, that page. No, it's the one before that, because that's still the EPN free site. Again, you all ought to join as EPN free. Again, some of you that were on the last 2 webinars are actually going to get free membership to the associates. Now you got to go one more. There we go. Click on the associates one because that's the one that most people are going to become members of. Once you become a member, you've paid your $249 or some other number. We're going to give coupons to some people. We will discount this for some. We have allowed some people to be free. So now, yeah, click on the preview. Scroll down. You notice you can join Eat from here too. And we're going to add this to the page on the Eat on the free site. I haven't done that yet. Mark, that's something that you could do. Add that infographic to the one we were just at, which I don't think it's on there for. So now click on the primary membership information. Right now, that's all we have here. And the first one is just a little bit of introductory information. And then eventually, and I mean literally by next week, because literally we're signing up for something called BidNet in the next couple of days. There will be projects of which you could potentially become a member of a project team by next week. We'll be putting those onto only 2 pages, the advisor page or the associate page. We only want those 2 membership groups to know about them. Students can actually become part of teams, but they're not going to see the actual projects because, again, we want them to be chosen and asked by our advisors and our associates if they'd like to be parts of a team. So now click on the EPN Elite Associate NDA and Agreement. It used to be 2 weeks ago when we first started, and the webinars will even say this, that we wanted people to download a form and then to fill it out. Now the form is on this page. So as Mark scrolls down, he's going to see a legal form. It starts right here. And I'm going to have you stop when you get down to Article 9. But this is a typical legal agreement that we're going to require people to fill out, not right away, but when they have their chance to make their first income in EAT. So, excuse me, in EPN. When they're either on a project team, when they are recruiting someone, or when they're on a proposal team. For any of those three reasons, then they're going to need to fill this out. I would recommend you fill it out right away, then you don't have to worry about it later. But we're trying to make this really easy. I talked a little bit about this last week, but I want to show you where you can come in and read it. And that's in section 9 that's coming up here, which 9 through, I think, 12 or 13 tells you how you make money as an associate. And this is a legal contract between you and EPN. It means if we screw up and we don't pay you on what is described here, you can sue us, and it's very likely you're going to win. This is a legal contract. Same way, if you do something that violates this contract, you can be kicked out of EPN very easily. And you know, we have legal things we can do that would stop you from being a bad person. The key here is that this first one, section 9.1, is personal recruiting. If you recruit anybody to become a member of any of the other member categories, except advisor, because we're selecting those, the ownership, the leadership that are the original founders, John Nillen and myself right now, you get 1/4 of whatever they pay. And it even tells you what you win, you get it. You get it on the 10th of the month following the time they enroll. And you'll get, that's all you have to do is just know that you can do that. You can get, as you bring people in, you bring in one associate, it's a $249 enrollment fee, assessment, we're calling it, then you get 25% of that, which is about $65 every year. So if they keep enrolling, if they keep paying, you get it every year. All right, scroll down, Mark, to the next thing that you get paid for. If you find projects for us, for EPN, even if you're not a part of them, you're going to get paid. So if you find a remediation project, which means a cleanup project of an environmental problem at XYZ Manufacturing, EPN ends up getting the work. Even if you're not on the team that does the work, you're going to get 5% of the net profits of that. And on $1 million project, the net profits should be about 300,000 or something in that range, 250. Let's even make it lower and say 200,000. 5% of 200,000 is $1,000. No, excuse me. 10% is, excuse me, $5,000. Not bad for just identifying a project. And we want to incentivize every one of our associates to go out and find projects for EPN. So I give an example in the brochure, and I talked about it in one of the 2 previous webinars about how that would happen. You know, if you had a friend that owned an automobile warehouse, and they're going to change it and shut it down, and you knew you needed to get a phase one done, and the guy came to you because he knows you're an environmental guy, but you don't know anything about phase ones. Instead, you're a forestry guy or something. In this case, you would come to EPN, you'd bring us that project. We'd find the right people to get that project done for your buddy, and you'd make 5%, even if you didn't participate, of the net profits. Next one, Article 11. You get an annual profit distribution. And that is all of the associates will get 25% of the before tax profits of the company. I believe those are going to be huge. I believe in 5 years that those will be $1 billion. 25% of $1 billion is 250 million. If there are 1,000 associates, it'd be 250 divided by 1,000, 250 million divided by 1,000. My math's going to go haywire on me here, but I think it means you make 250,000 for that year. So it's the total number divided into whatever the net profit is of number of associates, and then that amount is what you could earn. That could be the biggest amount you would ever earn, and it'd be crazy. Next one, Article 12. If you help with proposal development, so you don't just identify a project, but you work on developing the proposal for it, and we make money, we'll negotiate with you. You'll before the proposal's submitted to the potential client, you're going to know what you're going to make because you helped put the proposal together. On $1 million proposal, again, the whole development team, proposal development team, will probably make 1%, 2% from 10,000 to 20,000. And they're never going to be more than 3 or 4 people on a development team. So you're going to make 6,000 or 7,000 for every project you just work on proposal development. You're not a part of the team. Then finally, Article 13 is what you make if you're on the team. And you define what that hourly rate is. We're not going to define it for you. We're not going to say, well, you're only worth $75 an hour. You might think you're worth 150. You define that number. You say, you know what, I won't work on any EPN projects for less than $150 an hour. And if you're on a team and you work and we bill your time out for 100 hours at $150 an hour, then you made $15,000. So now, before you had to download this document and you had to fill it out, sign it. Now we have a digital signature, which keeps scrolling down, Mark, at the end of every one of these for every different group, where if you agree, you just click. Oh, you went too far, Mark. Over here where it's already on agree. But let's say you changed it and you said, no, you're right there. Mark, you're going too far. It's right, Mark, it's right there. There we go, right there. So you either agree and then click submit. That means you're digitally agreeing. You have to put your name and first name and last name and your email address up above. And then you've now done all the paperwork you need to do. Or if you have some comments or problems, concerns, you click on that one rather than the I agree. If you click on that, Mark, you'll see that the one is going to go away on the I agree. Click on the next circle down. That one. There you go. Notice that it goes away. And that means we're going to contact you. We get informed of all of this. And we're going to say, hey, Bob, what are the concerns that you have? What is it that you don't like about the contract here? Then you hit submit and you're done. That's it. You're in. If you've clicked I agree. So we've greatly simplified this. And we've changed sort of the order. Now we're really wanting people to first become EPN free members, then become an associate member, then fill out the profile, or maybe they fill out the profile before they become the member. Notice, remember, we clicked up at the top and we came to this. And then finally, they don't fill this out until they're in a status of where they could make money by any of these last articles, 9 through 13. So that's it for my presentation. I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to ask anybody if they've got questions. And I'd like to turn the last 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes here into a discussion. Oh, Mark, would you go back quickly aside? I do want to point out again, a couple other things. It's not changes, but go, yeah, to the main site, to the one you were on. You can go to this one too. You can go back up to the top of it, to the header, all the way to the top. You're not, no, keep going up to the header. Oh, you have to go off of this page, go back to the home page. But no, it's there. If you click, no, you were there. All right, well, go to the top of this one or the bottom. Click on blog. That takes you to our 7-year-old highly read site, and you're seeing the blog portion of it, but called environmentalprofessionalsnetwork.com. And this has been modified. I did talk about this before. It hasn't been changed in the recent past, other than adding an infographic that Mark put together, which you're going to see here as you scroll. He's just going to scroll down the page. This is what we want just the general public to come to. And if they want to become members, if they click on this EPN, that right there, Mark, you don't need to do it, but that'll take you to the EPN community site. And that infographic is in a variety of different places on the page, on the website here, not just the home page. It's on the page next to every one of our 380 blogs. This is John Nillen and myself. Hope I look a little bit like the picture. I don't wear my glasses in that picture. My hair has become less gray, if you can believe it, over time. That they say that does happen. I don't know why that is. And then we have blogs in here. We have 380 of them. Some of them, for the search term that they're talking about, are on first page of Google. This is a very highly read site. Do you remember from our last week's site matrix, how many page views did it get daily last week? A couple of weeks ago, it was 5,000. So. Okay. All right, that's it from me. We're going to go to questions now and comments. Have a discussion. I don't know, Mark, Doug. By the way, there's lots of mistakes. Gosh, I'll be real honest. I get frustrated when people just ask to make criticism and they're not constructive. That's never fun. But please, folks, every document I guarantee you read in the world has got mistakes in it, with the exception, I'm sure Mormons would say, of the Book of Mormon. Probably they'd say the Quran doesn't, and the Bible, but there are different versions of all of those documents, and there's probably spelling errors or whatever. Doug, I don't know why there's a red dot. There shouldn't be by software. And I think you're talking about on the sheet. Mark could be back to it again. There shouldn't be. It's no different than anything else. I don't know why software development would have that. Mark, it's on the profile sheet that we were looking at. So I don't know why that's there, Doug. Another question. It's on the perspective. You keep scrolling in the background while I read these questions. Is there a place in the in the profile that I can upload my resume. Not in the profile itself, but if you read the instructions, it says you can send it to me by email. It does say that. As a member, will I be able to go directly to my profile once I fill it out along with the NDA? We're not publishing people's profiles. We would never do that unless somebody gave us their permission to. Would we ever publish them? I'm not sure. They're certainly going to be available to us as we look to develop project teams. Would they be publicly available to members? Good question, great question. Haven't given that a lot of thought yet, but my guess is we'd never make everything available, but we would maybe we'd probably tell people as they filled out the profile form that there might be some things that we would make available. And then that's real easy for us to put in here if we chose to do that. Great question. You can go to the filling out the profile. And now your question is actually a little different. Will you be able to look at your profile? Right now, you're going to fill it out, you're going to submit it, and you're not getting it back, but we could get it to where you get it back privately. That would be easy to do. And so you could see if maybe you want to change it and redo it. Already we've got it to where you can change it anytime you want and upgrade it, change it, modify it as new things happen in your life. But we should actually be able to make it available to you to see once you filled it out. Yes, but right now you wouldn't be able to, but we can do that. Again, there's a comment here that says it's confusing to have to go somewhere on the site. I'll deal with that. A question about is Mark in India? No, Mark is in Bangladesh. Why is that relevant, by the way? But I'm being a little defensive right now because I hope that's not asked in some negative sort of way. And if it is, I'm not at all happy. But Mark is in Bangladesh. Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. Somebody asked, where do we start? By filling out a profile form. I think this particular person already has. There's been thousands of hours of work and tens of thousands of dollars that have already gone into this. And I understand everybody wants to get going right away. Anybody that wants to volunteer, not get paid to do work, all of our advisors that we're going to add, they won't be added until they're willing to volunteer as well as pay their membership fee of $1,000. As soon as we start putting projects on, which could be as early as next week, those projects will go on the advisor websites and the associate websites. There'll be a new resource section. There'll be resources / projects available. And that will then make those available for you as a member to indicate an interest, say, I would love to be on that project team. I think I could be a great addition to it. I would love to do project development for that, meaning proposal development. We're going to ask you to be giving us your input on that. So it's a great question. And we hope that as soon as possible, we can get people to start. Somebody asks, what kinds of projects would we be interested in? If you look again on the profile form at the many different categories of members that could be associates, accounting, bookkeeping, software development, remediation, all kinds of them. That's the range. It's off the charts broad. If it has any relevance to environmental or ecological, environmental is the interaction between the ecosystem and so living organisms and the physical, chemical, biological elements that they're involved in. So the air, water, soil, living conditions that they're in. It's so broad. Ecological is a little narrower because it's really related to the way specific organisms interact with each other and with their entity. So projects can be just really broad. I think you asked about size. But we're probably, not going to be interested in projects smaller than $10,000. Although as I said that, I could think of a $5,000 project that might be a phase one assessment. Phase one's assessments are typically around $2,900 to $4,200. We'd be interested in clients that could provide us phase one assessments. Every commercial property and commercial industrial property sold in the United States today that has a loan put on it of any kind has got a phase one assessment done for it. Those run $2,900 to $4,200, sometimes a little more, and those would be of interest. So any client that might have phase 1-2 assessments. I've said bigger numbers just because I wanted to make you realize there could be very big projects also, but I'd say anything smaller than $1,000 is probably not something we'd be interested in, because I can't imagine. I really don't know what a project might be that'd be less than that. Let's see what else. Great questions, great comments. Somebody said, I love the Goldens. Boy, that's wonderful. I love you to say that. I'm going to do something now here quick. Loki, come here. Come here, buddy. Loki, come here. Come here. Come up here. Come up here. I'm going to put him up here. This is a different little guy. Just a second. So, Mark, did you go to that page? Did you see why there's a little red dot by software development? I don't know what that would be there for. There shouldn't be. Well, they are, but it wouldn't be by software development. It would be up at the top. So the red dots are there. So there shouldn't be something by the word software development. So this is Loki. And obviously he's not a golden. He is a 4-month-old black lab. And his call name is Loki. And he is very black. And he is our lover today, and he just is, like I said, 4 months old. So scroll down there a little bit now. But I don't know that service member is going to have all the categories, is it? It might. Let's see. May have to go back to associate. See, the little red dots by email said that is required. Click on the associate again, Mark. It's the very top one right there. Anyway, Loki's, because we do have a lot of Goldens, that is our primary breed. We have Great Pyrenees also, and we've had Brittany's and a variety of pointing dogs, but this little guy is, and we've had labs, this is not the first. His registered name is Mountain Sky's Brother of Another Color. So right now, his two other brothers are both golden retrievers, and then he has a brother and a sister that are so it's going to stop. It's mostly alphabetical, but it gets out of alphabetical here near the bottom somewhere. Where does it say software development? Yeah, well, I wouldn't get rid of that. Maybe that it puts it at the end because that says that is a required question. That's probably the reason it puts it there. That's probably right. That's something we probably can't change. That's a feature of the SurveyMonkey, which is the form generation program that we use here. That's probably why that's there. We could put another sentence. We could put another sentence below that just says, now that you've seen the list, go ahead and fill out the box. We should do that anyway. That makes sense. We should just add another sentence there. I'll go into SurveyMonkey and do that. And then it won't put that red dot by that. It says that it's required, but it'll be after the sentence, which says, please fill out the box. Up top, it actually says that at the top of the list. Glad you pointed that out. You know, you're right, it isn't there. So we'll go ahead and put that down at the bottom. That's what we want, is these kinds of thoughts from you guys. You may add any skills that you have that are environmental. If people have piano playing skills, we probably don't care about that. But if they could have any relevance to environmental issues from that question, yes, you should use those. That whole list is just a jog. It's a memory jog for people. And it actually says that up at the top. So, but hey, it's a long list, and it's not. We're trying to make this simpler and simpler, but we have to be somewhat legal about it, which is why we have the profile form and the agreements. All right, let's see. Any other questions? We've got several minutes left. I've said before, I'll stay as long as you guys are on here, but any other specific questions? Getting dark here in Texas, by the way. Staying live a lot later, 7:30 here. So yes, the answer is you can certainly add custom skills and put whatever your rating of yourself would be for those. You know, if I was sitting out there, the question I haven't gotten is, how are you going to choose team members? You know, what if there's 5 or 6 people who want to be on a team and they're all somewhat qualified? It's not going to be easy. I will tell you right now, that's going to be a challenge. And it's not going to be, hopefully, me. It's going to be a team of the advisor members. That's why we're hand-picking the advisor members. And that proposal development team, which will include probably some odd number, so we don't end up with a tie as a vote, of advisor members would would, once a proposal is being put together, would choose out of that group of however many, if I can get off the table, if I can get down. I've got to close a blind here because the dogs have just figured out they could see into my friend's yard where there's a bunch of dogs running around. So I'm closing a window behind me there. That's something that over time we're going to want to get more guidance and see if we can be as fair as possible. Because if, let's say, there's a project that needs one person with a specific skill set, and there are 5 or 6 people who would qualify, we're going to have to make a choice and pick that 1 out of 5, and the other 4 are not going to be necessarily happy. So hopefully we can be as careful as possible and being able to describe why we chose what we did, and then and even be fair, and that maybe that one person is chosen for one project, and we have the next project that has a similar need, and there are the same 5 people, and we choose another one of those rather than the one that we chose for the first one. Again, I'm just speculating a little bit, but so anyway, well, we are past the bottom of the hour, and unless I have some other questions, we'll probably call it for the night. My hope is that next week, I don't promise this, but next week we will have some projects to begin to talk about. And they will have already even been put onto your website if you're an associate member or an advisor member. And you can be looking at them there before we even begin to talk about them. That's the goal. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. A couple of people have said they had to go and said that they would like to make sure they're on the list, and I think that's great. And I hope that we get some projects on board so that we can be putting people on the list. It's gotten dark enough here. I should have turned some lights on back in this corner of the RV, but actually the contrast is pretty good right now. Last 15 seconds for anybody to put questions in. Somebody's at my door, guys, and it's a good time for me to bail anyway. Hello, just a second. I'm on a webinar right now. I'll be off in just a second. All right, so have a great evening, everybody. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon. Take us out, Mark.